Welcome, beautiful people. How are we all doing today? For those of you returning for another one of my videos, I want to say thank you. And for those of you who are new to my channel, this is Skelly by Nature. I am Skelly, and here we talk a lot about nature. I teach you guys different things about natural medicine, foraging, behaviors, things like that, all things pertaining to nature. So today's video, as you can see, it is a little snowy out here in New England, but we are in the middle of March, and which means spring is only right around the corner. And for a lot of us up here, one of the things that we all dread about the spring is allergies. And so today's video, I'm going to show you guys a little hot chocolate mixture that I like to do that helps get you ready for allergy season. And by what I mean by that is this is a drink that is going to boost your immune system. It's going to get your immune system what we call active and ready, so that way when we do get our allergies, we have our immune system to help us get past that and help alleviate some of these, the sneezing and the coughing and the things that come with allergies. I'm one that I don't suffer really much from allergies. Yeah, there is a time when pollen gets so bad that, it does make me sneeze. It does get my nose into my nose and into my mouth. But this is also just a drink that I personally truly just like to drink. This is going to be a hot chocolate mixture. We're going to be using a mushroom called the Red Belted POLYPORE. That's something that we can use as a benefit to help relieve GI inflammation. It helps stimulate, like I said, the immune system. It acts as an antihistamine as well, so it's getting our body ready for these allergies. And it also as well has many anti-cancerous elements inside. So what we're going to do is, the first thing what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to identify Red Belted POLYPORE. Again, unfortunately, this year wasn't a great year for us for mushrooms, so I didn't find any fresh ones, but I did have some left over from years prior, and I'm going to be using those to show you how to make this, but I also want to show you how to identify, because it is fairly a easy mushroom to identify in nature. So the first thing that we're going to do is when you see Red Belted POLYPORE, again, it's in the polypore family, which all polypores have a very similar look to them. This is an artist polypore. This is one that I actually use it to draw on. You can also use it for, the same idea as what we're using it the Red Belted today, but it's just not as potent. There's not as much good elements inside it. So it looks very similar to this. It's going to be hanging off the side of a tree. They basically are found on dying firs and hemlocks and evergreens like that. They usually have many different colored bands to them on the inside. Along in here, you'll see that there's bands of orange, there's bands of brown and creamy white color, but it's called a Red Belted POLYPORE because when you do find it in nature, there's going to be a red colored band right across the bottom, and that's where the Red Belted POLYPORE gets its name from. As you can see, I have Here's kind of similar to what the color looks like. Now when you see it in nature, it does kind of have a semi-glossy finish to it. These are dried out. They've been dried out for a little while now. And as well as the bottom of it is going to be a white, creamy color. It's going to be like a polypore like that on the bottom, similar to this color here. And that's how you determine you have a Red Belted POLYPORE. And so when you get one of those, you just break it off. They usually, snap off very easily off the tree. Try to leave some of that in there. Try not to damage the tree. Let that, and you'll see that will come back and return. So like I said, the first thing that you're going to do is when you have gathered these in the woods, you're going to bring them home. What I like to do is I like to actually get right down to and cut them up really right away. The reason is because these are a very tough mushroom. They're not a mushroom that you think of that they're soft and easy to cut through. These mushrooms actually are very hard. They're very almost wood-like. They're kind of a rubbery wood feeling to them. If you feel them, they are very hard, very rubber-like mushrooms. So these are not something you're going to take a regular knife to. So I like to get them home, and then what I like to do is I like to cut them into strips or cubes. As you can see, I got a bunch of cubes right here. And the way that I do it is I actually use a saw. I actually use a Sawzall. I take a fresh wood blade with my Sawzall. I put them down, and I cut them up that way. And I just basically cut them into pieces. 1-inch piece or so, something this size. There's another of the red color, as you can see, that's the bottom. And then what I do is I like to put them off to the side. I throw them into a bag of some sort and let them dry a little bit. And then I collect them and keep them. And then use them from there. So the next step, once everything's been done, you got them cut up in pieces and they're dried. The next step that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make a kind of a powder out of them. As you can see right here. Oh, look at that. It's coming down pretty good. As you can see right here, I have a bowl, and it's just all powdered form. Now this is where I start using it from, whether I want to put it into a mixture of something. I can have this ready to go. And the way that I achieve this is I use my trusty Ninja blender. And I take and just throw them in the blender, keep grinding them up. It's going to take a long time. I take and I blend it all down, get it fine. I dump it out. Then I actually use a sieve, or you can just separate the big pieces and throw them back into the blender again, and just keep going until you break them down. This is actually a very fine powder. You don't have to be that fine, because I can also show you when we make this drink, you can actually filter out the pieces as well. So if you want to go ahead and make this concoction in pieces like that, you can do that as well. I'm just one that I like to have it in a fine powder. You pull out a little bit more of the nutrients and stuff like that and get it into the drink. So this is what you're going to need to do, is cut them into pieces, then put it through the blender, get yourself a nice fine powder, and then we can go on from there. So let me get this all squared away with, and I'm going to hit the stove, and I'm going to show you how to make this wonderful earthy hot chocolate mixture that is also very healthy, very beneficial, especially if you're a person who suffers from allergies or GI inflammations, or if you're looking to just boost your immune system for future colds and flus and everything else. So let me get to the stove and I'll show you how to make this wonderful drink. Okay, so we're now by the kitchen, or in the kitchen at the stove, and what we're going to need to make this wonderful earthy sweetness drink is we're going to need a pot. Depending on how many people you're serving, I'm just going to be making a single glass. So as you can see, I got my glass of milk. I have whatever cocoa mixture you want, whether you want to go Swiss Miss or whatever. You get some pure chocolates, however you make your hot chocolate, as well as I have my polypore powder. So then the first thing that you're going to want to do is obviously pour your milk into your pot, and we're going to turn that on. Now I'm going to turn this on to a medium-low, and we're going to let that get heated up. Helps if you turn the right burner on. If you don't do that, it does not come out very well. So then the next step we're going to do is I'm going to take a tablespoon. I like to take one decent scoop of powder of the POLYPORE, and I'm going to pour it in there. And then I'm going to do whatever mixture you make for your hot chocolate is all you're really doing. So I'm going to be putting 3 scoops of my Swiss Miss in here, just like so. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start to stir this up. And I'm going to get this mixed in really, really well. Now, what we're going to do is, this isn't a, what we want to do is we actually want to be able to kind of extract the elements out of the POLYPORE. So, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to get this heated up, get this mixed in, and once I start to see the milk starting to steam a little bit, I'm going to turn this down to a very, very low simmer. All the way down. I turn my knob all the way down to basically 0. And what we're going to do is we're going to let that sit on our stove for 40 minutes. And that 40 minutes we're going to be extracting all of the stuff, all of the good elements out of the out of your POLYPORE. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to let it simmer 40 minutes, and I'm going to be back, and I'm going to show you the end results. Okay, so it's been 40 minutes now, and this should be pretty much done. Like I said, you want to give it at least 40 minutes. You don't want to heat this up too much. But now we're in the process of getting ready. It's done. It's ready to be poured. Now the next step, if you want to filter this, you know, whether through a coffee filter or cheesecloth or something, or strainer, there is going to be a little bit of the pulp left over from the POLYPORE. I don't mind drinking it. It is edible. You can drink it. It's just something that is, some people don't like it, so you can strain it out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go pour this directly right into my cup. And the next step, if you want, there's a couple other things you can do. If you would like, there's, you know, you can add, sometimes I like to add a little bit of peppermint to it, give you a nice peppermint chocolate. But this drink's going to give you kind of a nice earthy sweetness added to your chocolate milk. So it's very good. You could also put in nutmeg is another good one that goes well with this. And for me, I love my hot chocolate. I always got to have marshmallows. And the nice thing about the marshmallows too is that POLYPORE pulp rises, it's going to stick to the marshmallows as well. So I just eat it with the marshmallows. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little something. I hope you guys can catch a little relief from your allergies and stuff like that. Yeah, that's nice. It's got a nice nutty taste to it. I love it. So anyway, I hope you guys do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. As well as share this video. There's many people out there who suffer from allergies. This is a drink that will help you get ready for the allergy season. Hopefully you suffer a little less. That's the idea. No, it's not going to take your allergies away, but it will ease your allergies. So share this with other people on your media feeds. As well, stay tuned for the next video, and until then, be beautiful, be awesome.